At 6 April 2020, and this is the history of all black people as told by the spirit medium of Zinyamukuru. This story was published today, and the spirit medium, who is called Neva Gasho Changara, was describing to Drumas Media in Shona. So I decided to make this story in English. So what Neva said is that he has the spirit medium of Zinyamukuru. Zinyamukuru, as he described, is a spirit medium of the first man, the father of all Africans. And his mother was called Gadziguru. So he says, in the beginning, God created 3 races in Ethiopia. And those races were ruling by rotation. So it was white people, Arabs, and blacks. And those people would rule by rotation. So first, the white people ruled, then came the Arabs, and then came the black people. After the black people ruled, God was very pleased with the last king, who was a black ruler, because he was a very kind ruler. So he made the decision that this black ruler was going to rule forever. However, this did not go well with the other races, and they ganged up and conducted a massacre of all the black people that were there. Only one woman and her 2 children, a boy and a girl, escaped. And they escaped towards Sudan. Then as they were running, they were followed by soldiers. And they saw an anthill which had a cave and ran into it. And, well, obviously they were safe from the soldiers. And the mother told the girl to go and get some grass, some tall grass, so that they would cover the entrance of that anthill. And that anthill is what is called Guru Uswa. So this woman, she's Gadziguru. Her boy child is Zinyamukuru. And the girl's name was not mentioned. She was older, that's why she was sent to get the grass. When they got to Sudan, they stayed there for over 1,000 years. So he says that that time people used to live to thousands of years. And the mother did not tell the children that they were brother and sister. So they had children. So Zinyamukuru became the father of all Africans. So after 1,000 years, Gadziguru decided to leave because God had given her an instruction that she was going to be buried in a land with gold. So she decided to leave. She took the eldest daughter of her children and other children and other people, and they did a great trek through Congo, Uganda, Tanzania, and Kwekwe. And they ended up in Zimbabwe because God had told Gadziguru that you are going to be buried in a land with gold. So they ended up in present-day Zimbabwe. So now there were 2 kingdoms. There was a kingdom that was left in Sudan, and there was a kingdom that was in Zimbabwe. The one that was in Sudan was ruled by Haile Selassie, and the one that is in Zimbabwe ended up being handed over to Mwene Mutapa. The spirit of Zinyamukuru came to Zimbabwe, and he anointed, when he manifested, he anointed Mwene Mutapa, who became the king of all of Southern Africa. Right, so this is how this whole thing happened. But before the spirit of Zinyamkuru came, wonders started to happen in the areas around Sudan. So they started to build pyramids magically. And so if you go into any pyramid, you are going to see the picture of a woman, a black woman. That woman is Gadziguru. Sorry, it's Gadziguru. So Mwene Mtapa ruled all of Southern Africa from the Great Zimbabwe. And there was a lot of gold around the Great Zimbabwe. This is where King Solomon's mines were. And this is what attracted the British and the Portuguese. They came to see or to seek that gold. They did not come here for farmland. This is what he says. So when the Portuguese and the British arrived, they chased out Mwene Mtapa, was the father of Mtota, and they ran away. However, before they ran away, they did rituals so that the gold disappeared. So the gold is there, but it disappeared. Right, so this is the story of the creation of black people and their history. So this is how all black people are connected according to these spirit mediums. This story was told to Mugabe, and the person who was sent to tell Mugabe is Xavier Kasukuwere. Xavier Kasukuwere went and told Mugabe about this story, and the spirit medium says Mugabe knew about this story, and by the time he died, there were certain things that he was supposed to do, and he had done them. That's why he was accepted into Nyikadzimu. Nyikadzimu is like heaven. So this is what this guy said. Now let's talk about the current state of the spirit. So I want you to understand this very, very carefully. Very important. The spirit of Gadziguru, Zinyamkuru, and Mwene Mtapa has manifested. And last year, these spirits were taken and they were put back at the Great Zimbabwe. So the spirits are now at the Great Zimbabwe, and change is about to come to Zimbabwe. You remember I told you last year that the spirits of Zimbabwe have spoken that in this year, the 40th year, there's going to be change in Zimbabwe. So the spirits are now at the Great Zimbabwe, and the spirit of Zinyamkuru manifested. In fact, it was the spirit of Gadziguru that manifested. And she said she's now on the move. And you're going to see a lot of things happening. Firstly, certain countries which are connected to this history that I've talked to you about, they are going to see great changes. Countries like Zimbabwe, the coup, Egypt, the Arab countries, these countries are going to be affected. Sudan, she says that there was a fake independence, and she was going to address that situation in Sudan. So that is what Gadziguru had said. Similarly, Egypt, Greece were going to be affected. And also he says white people came from Greece. I'm sure, if I'm not mistaken, that's what he said. The white people ended up going through Greece and then spreading out from there. He says the spirit wants peace. It does not want blood. So this message was communicated to Mugabe. It was communicated to all people around him, because this spirit oversees peace. Another thing that the spirit says is that it hates the spirit of mermaids. The spirit of mermaids are evil. And then on coronavirus, the spirit says every homestead in Zimbabwe must have a mushamba tree. This prevents diseases that travel through the air. That is the message. And then to treat coronavirus, you have to plant a muveneka or mremberembe tree I think those people that know this, they know which tree that is. Right, so the problems in Zimbabwe are about to end. And the Spirit said, those people who are taking the wealth of Zimbabwe and putting it in their own pockets and not using it for the welfare or well-being of the people, after they die, their wealth would not last for over 5 years because it will just flow away from them like dew. Right, that is the story. And I want to quickly tell you about the spirit medium. How did he become a spirit medium of Gadziguru in 1 minute? So he said as a young man, he was looking for his cattle and he saw a pool of water in the bush and he decided to drink water. So he put his mouth in the pool and started to drink, and something grabbed him from the water and wrestled with him for an hour. He said for almost an hour. And then an old lady came, and that old lady asked, why have you taken this young man? And then he was released. When he was released from the water, his clothes were dry. There was no wetness on his clothes. So he ran away. But after about 200 meters, there appeared a big 1 kilometer long glowing dragon, which blocked his path. And he ran around the dragon. When he got to the tail of the dragon, he saw his cattle and he went away. He thought nothing about it. However, that old lady has appeared to him on a number of occasions. A specific occasion was when he wanted to go into politics. And the spirit, that old lady, came to him at night and said, why do you want to go into politics when you're a great spirit medium? And the spirit told him that night to go to a certain place. And I think that place was called Dande. And he was told to go and find a man called Chijgamauyu. And that man was a spirit medium. He was supposed to talk to that old man who would give him more instructions. And indeed, he found that man in Dande called Chijgamauyu, who was a spirit medium. And the spirit medium came with him to his home. So he followed him to his home. And when he got to his home, they did a ceremony where other spirit mediums came. The spirit medium said the government of Zimbabwe had killed 2 elephants that came to Dzivarasekwa. These 2 elephants were killed by the ministers. I think the ministers were Mahachi and Bodagezi. When they killed these elephants, they didn't realize that they killed elephants that had spiritual significance. And the spirit medium said, if these guys did not pay restitution or did not appease the spirit, they would die together in 1 month. And he said that appeasement was not done. And indeed, the 2 ministers died, one at the beginning of the month and the other at the end of the month. Right, I want to put this on WhatsApp, so I'm going to end it here. Please go to Drumas Media, and thank you very much to my brother, Andrew Neshamba, for allowing me to use this video from his channel. And this story was told by the spirit medium to a man who was in the farm where King Solomon's mines are. So if you want to know more, go over to Drumas Media YouTube channel and watch this video, which was posted today. Right, thank you very much for watching. If you're watching this on WhatsApp, send it to as many people as possible. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, please like, comment, and share.